In this tutorial, I will show you how to draw a bag step by step. To draw a bag and give it a three-dimensional form, you first need to break it down into simple shapes. The bag is based on a simple box-like form. Start sketching it with light lines indicating the top and side planes. Next, begin adding the main parts of the bag. Start with the top and indicate the flap. At the same time, begin giving the contours smoother and softer shapes. As you refine the outlines, make the lines slightly darker so they gradually cover the original construction lines. Then, sketch the attachments of the strap. Again, begin with light lines and gradually darken them. Then, draw the strap itself. Use very long and smooth lines. Work on both sides in turn instead of concentrating on only one side, so the drawing doesn't lose its symmetry. Constantly compare the left and right sides and check the symmetry. Continue using light lines at this stage. You can return then to the flap and its contours and give them a darker and more finished appearance. In the center, mark the position of the strap loop. Check its placement, compare the distance from the left and right edges of the bag. Draw its upper and lower parts, then add the buckle. The buckle should be slightly wider than the strap. Make sure it sits right in the center. Next, move on to the final lines and begin tracing the drawing. Make the parts closer to us slightly darker than those farther away. As you work, erase unnecessary construction lines and correct the contours of the bag where needed. You can start refining with any part. We started with the flap. Then trace the buckle and the details around it. Next, trace the strap, starting with the attachment. Then darken and trace the strap itself. It doesn't need to have a perfectly rigid shape. Slight curves will make it look more natural. Add folds to the lower part of the bag. Then indicate the folds below the flap. Add thickness to the seams along the contours with light lines. Vary the pencil pressure slightly to make them look more natural. Next, mark the holes on the strap and begin adding the stitching. The stitches can be placed differently, so you don't need to copy our example exactly. Once the main lines are complete, begin adding shading. Start with the darkest area, the space beneath the flap. Then indicate the cast shadow from the flap. Lightly outline the shape and fill it with hatching. Move to the lower part of the bag. Separate the light and shadow areas with a light line. Then fill the shaded areas with hatching. You can indicate the core shadow to make this part appear more three-dimensional. You can also add a little tone to the strap and other parts of the bag. Again, work gradually across different parts instead of concentrating on a single area for too long. Again, to draw a simple cast shadow, first indicate the contours of the shadow on the surface. Then fill them with simple hatching. You can strengthen certain areas and add darker accents where necessary. Darker, more contrasting parts tend to appear visually closer, so take this into account as you work on the drawing. Now let's look at how to draw different types of bags. Once again, begin by indicating a simple box-like form with light, rough lines. Then start drawing the handles at the top, using very long and smooth lines. Try to make them approximately the same length. After that, gradually darken the lines by pressing slightly harder on the pencil. Slight overlaps between the forms can add more depth to the drawing. Once you have traced the handles, begin outlining the bag itself. Notice that its contour doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Slight curves in the lines will make the form look more natural and three-dimensional. Once the contours complete, fill the inner part with even hatching. Now let's look how to draw a sports bag. Again, indicate its box-like form, but make it slightly more elongated. Then begin giving the outline a smoother appearance with darker, cleaner lines. The parts closer to us can be slightly darker than the parts further away. This will make your drawing look more dimensional. The corners and bends in the lines can also be slightly darker. The line itself should remain fluid. Move on to the upper part and indicate the zipper. After that, begin drawing the handle. Indicate its upper part first, then draw the straps, connecting them to the bag. Here too, the lines should be very smooth. Once the main contours are in place, gradually darken them and refine. As you draw, erase unnecessary construction lines that remain visible through the final contours. So, bags can have very different shapes, as you can see, but the basic drawing process is roughly the same. First, indicate the main form as a simple box-like geometric shape. Then, gradually add the individual parts and details. I wouldn't recommend starting a drawing with a single detail and then developing the entire image from this point. This can lead to many problems that may be very difficult to correct later. That's all. If you enjoyed this bag drawing tutorial, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, and tell us in the comments which drawing tutorial you would like to see next.